Have you ever wondered if we could solve our waste problem by throwing it all into a volcano? It's a question that might seem a little out there, but it's worth delving into. In our modern world, waste disposal is a significant issue. We create mountains of trash each day, and finding sustainable ways to deal with it all is a growing concern. Now, picture a volcano, nature's mighty furnace, capable of incinerating anything that dares to plunge into its fiery depths. Could these natural wonders be the answer to our waste problem? In this video, we'll take a deep dive into this burning question. We'll examine the potential benefits and drawbacks of using volcanoes as waste disposal sites. We'll explore the science behind it, the environmental implications, and the practicality of such a solution. So buckle up and join us as we explore the pros and cons of dumping waste into volcanoes. So, why might people think volcanoes could be a good place for our waste? Well, let's dive into it. Firstly, landfills. They're among the most significant environmental issues we face today. Mountains of trash as far as the eye can see, taking up valuable land space and releasing harmful gases into our atmosphere. Now imagine if we could reduce or even eliminate the need for these landfills. Volcanoes, with their fiery pits and cavernous depths, could potentially provide the capacity to contain vast amounts of waste. Secondly, consider the intense heat of a volcano. We're talking about temperatures that can reach up to 2000 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to melt steel. This extreme heat could break down our waste into its basic elements, significantly reducing its volume and potentially transforming it into something less harmful. Think about it. Instead of a plastic bottle taking up space in a landfill for hundreds of years, that same bottle could be broken down in a volcano in a matter of seconds. And what's more, this process could help to reduce the release of harmful greenhouse gases that occur when waste breaks down naturally in a landfill. Lastly, there's the tantalizing possibility of capturing energy from this process. As waste breaks down in the intense heat of a volcano, it releases energy. If harnessed correctly, this energy could potentially be used to generate electricity, contributing to our ongoing efforts to find renewable and sustainable energy sources. On the surface, it seems like a perfect solution, but is it really? Unfortunately, using volcanoes as waste disposal sites isn't as simple as it might seem. Firstly, let's consider the risk of air pollution. You see, when waste is burned, it doesn't just disappear. It undergoes a chemical reaction, transforming into different substances. Many of these, like carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, are gases that get released into the atmosphere. This process can lead to the formation of smog, acid rain, and contribute to the warming of our planet. Not to mention, certain types of waste, such as plastics, release harmful toxins when burned. These toxins can linger in the air, posing a risk to both human health and the environment. But wait, you might say, don't volcanoes already release these gases? Well, yes, they do. However, the quantities released during a volcanic eruption are far greater than what we would add by burning our waste. This could push our already fragile atmosphere over the edge, leading to more severe environmental and health consequences. Next, let's talk about water pollution. When waste is dumped into a volcano, it doesn't just stay there. It can be carried away by rainwater or wind, ending up in rivers, lakes, or even the ocean. This runoff can contain all sorts of harmful substances, from heavy metals to toxic chemicals, which can contaminate water supplies and harm aquatic life. Furthermore, the heat from the volcano can cause these substances to change form, making them even more dangerous. For example, mercury, a common component of many electronics, can vaporize at high temperatures and later condense in cooler areas, contaminating the land and water far from the original disposal site. Lastly, we need to consider the potential for triggering volcanic eruptions. While it's true that not all volcanoes are active, dumping large amounts of waste into a volcano could disturb its natural balance. The added weight and pressure could potentially trigger an eruption, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. Even if an eruption doesn't occur, the disturbance could cause landslides or other geological events. And let's not forget the danger to the people tasked with transporting and dumping the waste. Working on or near an active volcano is one of the most hazardous jobs in the world. In conclusion, while the idea of using volcanoes as natural incinerators may sound appealing at first, it quickly becomes clear that the risks far outweigh the potential benefits. From damaging our air and water to potentially triggering catastrophic geological events, the downsides of volcanic disposal are significant. Clearly, there are significant risks to consider, but the issues don't stop there. The practicality of this proposition is also a big question mark. To start with, imagine the logistical challenges of transporting waste to volcanoes. We're not talking about a few garbage bags here and there. We're talking about millions of tons of waste generated every year. The fuel and resources required for this transportation alone could potentially outweigh the benefits. And then there's the issue of the limited number of suitable volcanoes. Not all volcanoes are created equal. Some are too dangerous, some are too dormant, and some are just not accessible. And let's not forget that volcanoes are not evenly distributed around the globe. Some countries have plenty, while others have none. So are we going to ship our waste halfway around the world to dump it in a volcano? That doesn't sound very environmentally friendly, does it? Moreover, what about the potential negative impacts on local ecosystems and communities? Volcanic areas are often rich in biodiversity, home to unique and fragile species that could be devastated by the influx of our waste. And let's not forget about the people living near these volcanoes. How would they feel about their homes becoming the world's garbage dump? The social and ethical implications are massive. Lastly, we must consider the risk of unforeseen consequences. History has shown us that messing with nature often leads to unexpected and adverse outcomes. Who's to say what long-term effects our waste could have on volcanic activity and by extension on our planet's geology and climate? So, while the idea of using volcanoes as natural incinerators may seem appealing on the surface, when we delve deeper, we find a myriad of complications and challenges. It's clear that this isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. So, where does that leave us? We've journeyed through the appeal of volcanoes as nature's incinerators and the potential benefits that such a method of waste disposal could offer. We've also taken a deep dive into the significant drawbacks that make this method less than ideal. Let's revisit the potential benefits one more time. The enormous capacity of volcanoes could help reduce the need for landfills. They could also decrease greenhouse gas emissions by naturally incinerating our waste. Furthermore, the process could potentially be harnessed as a source of energy. All these points make the concept of volcanic waste disposal seem appealing, almost like a silver bullet to our waste problem. However, this seemingly perfect solution is not without its problems. The burning of waste in volcanoes could result in toxic gas emissions and ash fallout, exacerbating air pollution. Additionally, the leaching of chemicals from the waste into groundwater could pollute our water sources. Moreover, the act of dumping waste into volcanoes could potentially trigger volcanic eruptions, a risk that's simply too great to ignore. The balance between these potential benefits and significant drawbacks doesn't quite tip in favor of volcanic waste disposal. While it's a fascinating idea to ponder, it becomes less so when we consider the potential harm to our environment and ourselves. In the grand scheme of things, the concept of using volcanoes as waste disposals is a reminder of the need for innovative and sustainable solutions to our waste problem. It urges us to reconsider our consumption habits, to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and to seek new ways of turning waste into resources. Ultimately, the answer to our waste problem won't be found in the fiery depths of a volcano, but in our collective efforts to live more sustainably and responsibly. While it's an intriguing idea, it seems we'll need to keep searching for more practical and sustainable solutions to our waste problem.